A potent storm system is about to slam the southern United States right in the middle of Valentine's Day weekend. We are talking about severe thunderstorms, damaging winds, possible tornadoes, and flash flooding from Texas all the way to the southeast. And that is just the beginning of what could be a very active stretch of weather. Out west, mountain snow is already falling across Utah and Colorado tonight. Across the southern plains, from Dallas to Oklahoma City, severe weather fires up as early as tomorrow afternoon. By Saturday, that threat shifts east into Houston, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and Little Rock. And folks, considering that Winter Storm Fern just took the lives of at least 171 people across the country less than 3 weeks ago, this is not something to take lightly. So, in today's forecast, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about this Valentine's Day weekend storm system, the severe weather risk, the flooding threat, and what the pattern looks like all the way into early March. Let us start with temperatures because they have been absolutely unbelievable for the middle of February. This afternoon, we saw 60s and 70s across much of the central United States. Parts of southern Texas and southern Florida hit 80 degrees today. That is not April, folks. That is February 13th. We are running well above average across the southern plains, and when you combine that kind of warmth with the moisture that is about to pour in from the Gulf, you get all the ingredients for severe weather. I do think Tuesday, February 17th could be one of the warmest days of next week, with the 60-degree line pushing all the way up into South Dakota, Iowa, and northern Illinois. South of there, plenty of 70s and even some 80s down across the Gulf Coast. That would be absolutely crazy for the middle of February. Now here is where the action starts. There is a trough of low pressure sitting out near California tonight, and it is going to skirt along the southern edge of the country through the Gulf Coast this weekend. It does not look like much on the map right now, but trust me, this thing is going to pack a punch. It has a ton of moisture to work with, first from the eastern Pacific and then from the Gulf of Mexico. We are talking about precipitable water values running 200 to 300% of normal across Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas. That moisture is going to get wrung out like a sponge. So let us walk through the timeline. Tomorrow, Friday, February 14th, there is a marginal risk of severe weather across western Texas and Oklahoma. We are watching the area from Oklahoma City down through Wichita Falls, Lubbock, and Midland. By mid-afternoon, between about 3 and 5 in the afternoon, that is when we could see some supercell thunderstorms developing south of Amarillo. We are talking gusty winds, hail, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Now, the dew points tomorrow will be in the mid-50s, which is enough juice for severe storms, and there will be plenty of instability to work with, especially impressive for mid-February. The wind shear picks up after sunset and that low-level jet starts cranking. That is when the tornado threat will be highest early Friday evening. If you have Valentine's Day dinner plans out in western Texas or Oklahoma, keep your phone charged and stay weather aware. Now, as we go into Saturday, this is where things really ramp up. That severe weather threat shifts further east, and the environment gets even more juicy. By 7 in the morning on Saturday, we are already looking at near 60-degree dew points in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, with mid-60s down into Houston. That is a much deeper moisture setup than Friday. The marginal risk for severe weather on Saturday extends from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex down to San Antonio, Austin, Waco, and Houston, back up to Oklahoma City and McAlester, Oklahoma, and then down through the Texarkana area into Shreveport, Monroe, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge, getting close to Jackson, Mississippi. We are talking gusty winds, hail, and a couple of tornadoes possible. If you are flying in or out of Dallas-Fort Worth, Atlanta, or Charlotte this weekend, be ready for some delays. During Winter Storm Fern just a few weeks ago, Dallas-Fort Worth alone saw roughly 75% of its schedule canceled, about 3,200 flights. Now, this storm is not nearly that level, but thunderstorms can still wreak havoc on travel plans, so give yourself extra time. But the severe weather is only half the story. The other big concern is flash flooding. These storms are going to be training over the same areas, which means wave after wave of heavy rain moving over the same spots. From northwest Texas through northern Oklahoma and into southwest Missouri, we are looking at several inches of rainfall in a short amount of time. Then further south and east into Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, east Texas, and Louisiana, a few more inches of rain will pile up. The Interstate 35 and Interstate 10 corridors are going to be especially vulnerable to flash flooding with 1 to 4 inches of rain expected, and some localized spots could see up to 6 inches. If you are driving on Interstate 35 this weekend, be very careful. Do not drive through flooded roadways. Turn around, Don T. drown. That goes double for folks in the Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Shreveport, and Memphis areas where there is a heightened flash flooding threat going into Saturday. Then this whole mess shifts further east into Sunday. Soaking rains will spread across the southeast with 1 to 3 inches or more in some localized spots. There is a marginal risk for excessive rainfall across the Carolinas into Georgia, especially middle and southern Georgia, southeastern Alabama near Montgomery, and down into northern Florida. Panama City, Tallahassee, Gainesville, and the Jacksonville area all need to be watching out for heavy rain going into Sunday. And here is an interesting twist for the Mid-Atlantic. There could be a very narrow snow setup near Washington, D.C., the panhandle of West Virginia, up into southeastern Pennsylvania near the Poconos, and into New Jersey. It is going to be so close to the rain-snow line that we may end up with nothing, or we could see some slushy accumulations on the roadways. Something we will definitely be keeping an eye on. Now here is the good news in all of this. The zone from Texas to Georgia and the Carolinas is dealing with drought conditions ranging from adequately moist to exceptional drought. This Valentine Day soaking 1 to 4 inches of rain could provide some much-needed relief. And out west, the Cascades, the Sierra Nevada, and the Rockies are about to get hammered with heavy mountain snow over the next 10 to 12 days. We are talking feet of snow, yes, feet, and if you are a skier or a snowboarder, you're going to love this forecast. Colorado has winter storm warnings out for upwards of 20 inches in the higher elevations. California's Sierra Nevada snowpack was sitting at just 59% of average as of early February, so every inch of new snow is desperately needed. And here's another piece of great news. Lake Erie hit 96% ice coverage, the highest since 1996. That ice acts like a lid, shutting down those dangerous lake-effect snowbands that hammered western New York and Pennsylvania through January. That is a huge relief for folks in Buffalo and Erie who have been dealing with brutal lake-effect snow all winter. Now let me zoom out to the bigger picture because the madness does not stop here. Both the GFS model and the European model are showing a stronger storm signal between February 19th and the 22nd. The GFS actually develops an even stronger snowstorm than the European model during that time frame. For the northern tier of the country, the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and into New England, accumulating snow and ice risks are on the table. Further south, heavy rain and potentially more severe weather setups across the lower Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the southeast. And then as we push into the last week of February and the first week of March, the pattern flips. A ridge builds back out west, warming things up, but a trough digs into the east. That means winter is coming back for the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and the eastern seaboard. It could get a lot colder. And we also need to watch Dixie Alley because climatologically, early March is the favored time for severe weather season to really kick in along the Gulf Coast. So make sure you have got flashlights and batteries ready, keep your phone charged, and if you are on medication that needs refrigeration, have a cooler and ice packs ready just in case. Granted, a lot of this is still 7 to 14 days out, so things could absolutely change, but the signals are there for a very active stretch. As always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Share this with your friends and family, especially anyone in the path of this Valentine Day weekend storm. There might even be a live stream this weekend if things get really active. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and we will see you in the next forecast.